I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I'm James Brown, and on behalf of the Eastern Church of Christ located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to today's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, please go to the book of Genesis, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy Disocam for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 133rd lesson in our study of Genesis. Yesterday we covered Genesis chapter 38, verses 24 to 30, discussing Tamar being shown mercy because of Judah's sin, as well as the births of Perez and Zerah. If you missed that episode and would like to watch it, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on our website at www.eastendchurch.org. You can also find them on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/EastEndChurchOfChrist under the Walking Through the Bible Genesis playlist. Today we're going to begin with Genesis 39 verse 1 and read through verse 6. The text that you'll see on the screen is from the English Standard Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's now read Genesis 39 beginning at verse 1. Now Joseph had been brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the captain of the guard, an Egyptian, had bought him from the Ishmaelites who had brought him down there. The Lord was with Joseph, and he became a successful man, and he was in the house of his Egyptian master. His master saw that the Lord was with him, and the Lord caused all that he did to succeed in his hands. So Joseph found favor in his sight and attended him, and he made him overseer of his house and put him in charge of all that he had. From the time that he had been made overseer in his house and over all that he had, the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. The blessing of the Lord was on all that he had in the house and field. So he left all that he had in Joseph's charge, and because of him he had no concern about anything but the food he ate. Now Joseph was very handsome in form and appearance. After a short diversion in chapter 38 to discuss the direct descendants of Judah, we return to the story of Joseph, a man that will be the focal point of the rest of this book. If you recall from chapter 37, Joseph was sold as a slave by his brothers to the Ishmaelite and Midianite traders. They were on their way to Egypt to trade, and while they were there, they sold Joseph to a man named Potiphar. Potiphar wasn't just any man, though. He was the captain of the guard for Pharaoh. It is said here that the Lord was with Joseph. Why was that the case? Because as we'll see here in this chapter and in ones to come, Joseph was a righteous man. He feared God and worshipped God. And as the scriptures tell us, God is always with those who obey him. Moreover, though, the Lord was going to use Joseph's sale into Egypt to accomplish his purpose, for Joseph was going to save Israel from extinction by bringing them down to Egypt. Joseph didn't know this at the time, and I'm sure didn't view his slavery as a blessing. But many years later, when he had the opportunity to think back, he recognized the hand of God protecting him along the way. Similar to what happened to Laban when Jacob worked for him, Potiphar's household grew in wealth while Joseph was his slave. This again is because the Lord was with Joseph. Seeing this, Potiphar made Joseph in charge of everything that he had. This is quite a promotion for a Hebrew slave, one that most likely didn't go unnoticed among the other people in Potiphar's household. Joseph would have been put in charge of any of Potiphar's other slaves. He would have been put in charge of making Potiphar money through trade, anything really that was involved in the running of Potiphar's household. Today we would call Joseph the CEO of Potiphar's house. This took much of the stress and strain off Potiphar, for the passage says that he didn't concern himself with anything but the food he ate. How long did this take Joseph to do? We're not entirely sure, but Joseph probably would have risen through the ranks pretty quickly, seeing as how God would have been blessing the household from the beginning. And although we don't know how long Joseph worked in Potiphar's house, it's most certainly between 5 to 7 years. The passage concludes by telling us that Joseph was handsome in form and appearance. In other words, it is saying that he was attractive. Why would this be revealed to us, seeing as this book hasn't really said that of men up until now? Because of what we will read tomorrow concerning Potiphar's wife. There's nothing wrong with being attractive, as long as we don't flaunt our attractiveness. And although Joseph didn't do that, his attractiveness is going to get him into trouble, as we'll find out, the Lord willing, tomorrow. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow, when we will continue our study of Genesis, beginning with Genesis 39, verse 7.
Thank you, Jeremy. And to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have a question or comment, please leave them below or email them to answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we will be continuing on our study of the book of Genesis. Goodbye for now and have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to